All right, gather one and all. Warm up, would you? I mean, it's cold.
Oh, you're from Buffalo. Come on.
This thing suddenly turned into a Buffalo winter here.
It is. It's like that. It snows every day.
Yes,
Every day.
I've been telling people. I said, people say, "Hey, how's that? This is winter."
Yeah.
It's just like every single day.
It snows every day.
Every day. That's what it is. It's why they call it winter. Welcome in. It's Three Guys Before the Game, episode number 608. After a 5-day road trip, West Virginia is home again.
Welcome back. Welcome home.
Thank you.
You guys were gone seemed like a long time.
I had a file for residency in Texas. Been gone that long.
It was a long one.
Long trip. Home alone again. That's the title of this episode. Preview West Virginia and Iowa State. Look back at Colorado and Houston. Three Guys brought to us by Comax Business Systems, keeping West Virginia's business data safe, secure, and efficient for 25 years. By Goart. Get a Goart rewards card and immediately begin saving on food and fuel. Go to goart.com for details. Goart also featuring Connection 304 beer. It's their beer of the month. Check it out at a Goart near you. By Lou Wendell Marine Sales in St. Albans. They sell family fun. Visit LouWendellMarineSales.com. By Tutor's Biscuit World. Start your day the homemade way with a Tutor's Biscuit. Well, it tastes good all year round, but I tell you right now, when it's cold outside, ooh,
hot cup of coffee.
Three Guys also brought to us by the Conley CPA Group, providing value beyond numbers. That's spreads on stats, and that is coming up. All right, let's do this thing. West Virginia is back home. They split the 2-game road trip, winning at Colorado on Sunday. Beat the Elevation, beat the Buffaloes.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. We'll get into that. We'll also talk about the Wednesday night contest between the Mountaineers and the Houston Cougars. They're pretty good.
Sunday and Wednesday, your new schedule.
Yeah,
Houston's pretty good.
Yeah. Houston, very similar to last year, man. I mean, had the same feel, same vibe. I mean, they returned 70% of their offense, 80% of their rebounding from last season. So they're like really skilled, they're experienced, and they're good.
Well, Roberts has been there almost as long as Olajuwon was in Houston.
And good Olajuwon.
And LJ Cryer has been around. I think he might have played against Bill Walton back in the day.
No, you're mistaken.
He was in that famous game, that UCLA-Houston game?
No,
well, we'll get into it here.
Elvin Hayes.
Houston's one of those teams, offense and defensive efficiency right around both in the top 10. They're 11th in offensive efficiency. That's a national title contender.
Yep.
That fits the profile of who's going to win a national title. So we'll get into that one here in a little bit.
Speaking of Elvin Hayes, your boy dapped him up before the game.
Excuse me?
Elvin does color on the Houston radio network. 79 years of age. And
he's pretty good.
Your boy when I gave him
fist bump, did you?
Yeah.
No, I think I shook his hand, didn't I?
Oh, did you shake
I think
hands?
it was a traditional handshake.
Because he's 79, you'd think the dap would be a little bit.
Just trying to, didn't want to. No, he would have been fine with it. But
I saw
just wanted to show some respect to one of the greatest players of all time.
I saw hand contact. I didn't know if it was a dap
or a traditional handshake with him.
Yeah, he's long. He's big. He was the tallest guy in press row when you stand up for the national anthem. I'll tell you that much.
6'9", 6'8", 6'9"?
Oh, he's bigger than that. Seems like 7'7". I mean, just a long guy. Long guy. So we'll get into that. We'll talk about that. As usual, when you go on the road, things happen that aren't necessarily scheduled to happen. It began right when the team left Morgantown to go to the Pittsburgh airport. That's the first thing that wasn't supposed to happen. You're supposed to fly out of Bridgeport, but it had to go to Pittsburgh because of the weather, I guess. And then the plane didn't leave in time because there was ice down in Texas where it was coming from. So they had to make a quick little detour and pulled into a restaurant. And they did a fantastic job serving 45 people that were unexpected in 90 minutes. In, out the door, boom.
Good job.
So that was really good.
Yeah.
Good start. Good bounce back.
Yep. Then flew out there to Boulder. And first time there, obviously, and wanted to get a feel of the elevation. So they immediately just went to the gymnasium and got at the gymnasium, and they got a workout in. To say, okay, fine, we're fine. Air, they got air. You know what? Air's here. And then played the next day. And great first half. And second half, just as you thought. Maybe it was the elevation, maybe whatever it was, or maybe a lot of foul shots.
I mean, the elevation was the thing. Guys were tired. There may be a couple other things that happened within the course of the game that swung the scales in the Buffalo's favor.
Yeah.
58 fouls.
Yeah.
58 foul shots. 58 foul shots.
Yeah, quite a bit. But you know what? All we play to do is win the game.
Well, It was a rock fight. A Big 12 road trip, a long road trip, and you come away 1-1. You take that all day. Take that all day. And the big game to me was the Colorado game, because if you lost that, Brad, you would have lost that, lose at Houston, and playing Iowa State.
Agreed.
So you got Colorado. You lose at Houston like everybody loses at Houston. We'll get into that. And now you come home against an Iowa State team that just knocked off Kansas, so they're full of themselves. Maybe a little flat spot, who knows, for Iowa State. So you're okay. You're all right.
That Colorado win, too, in addition to all those things you just said, another opportunity, just like Kansas was, where they were coming.
Yeah.
Officials were going the other way on you. You were getting some ridiculous calls, and yet you just held the line. Right, you just said, nope, not going to lose. Javon Small just said, here's what we're going to do.
And
we're going to win the game and see you. And Joe Yesufu was absolutely outstanding.
18. I mean, he was.
And he just closed you out. Tired. Javon Small played 38 minutes at elevation.
Well, Javon Small plays like in a 40-minute game, plays 42 minutes. I mean, he never leaves. And I tell you that we'll get into this too, is that I don't see how that's not going to take its toll at some point. I mean, I think he was getting tired last night, as you might expect. I mean,
I don't know why you got to cast negative energy.
That's not a negative thing. That's an observation.
I think it's rather
38 minutes a game, especially when you're playing somebody like Houston, which
you ever heard Lou Gehrig? Didn't take a day off.
All right, fine. Good. Okay, go ahead.
He's playing a lot. You know what else he's doing? He's playing at a National Player of the Year level. That's the number one defense in the country, and they tried to say, we're going to take him out. And he said in that first half, just said, no, you're not. No, you're not. We'll go for 13 here. Now, second half, Amani picks up the scoring slack there, but Javon is playing truly as good as anybody in the country.
Yeah, we were talking to besides the national recognition that he deserves, but I mean, like right now, Big 12 Player of the Year at this moment, he's right there in that you have to include him in conversation.
Well, you do for a couple of reasons. One is the way he's playing, and two is that West Virginia is exceeding dramatically expectations. So that as well.
They're exceeding expectations so well that maybe there needs to be a national honor. You know? Maybe there needs to be a national honor for the coaching job that's done. Do they do anything like a mid-season coach of the year or anything like that, Brad?
I think so.
Jim Phelan, right? Remember the former Mount St. Mary's coach? I think there's an award named after him. Mid-season coach of the year. You got to be after that, too.
We'll get into some of those X's and O's, but to that point, there were some things last night put in against Houston that were outstanding and new and good, and this team just has a chance every night. I know that score last night ended up as a score where you wouldn't think it was as close. We'll get into some numbers here. West Virginia was making life uncomfortable there for Houston for a while.
No question. And, okay, so it ends up being 16 points. If you just glance at the score, you go, okay, you got beat 16 at Houston. But that game, the fact that West Virginia they started strong and then they struggled and they had those spells where they weren't scoring. And, Roberts had the big first half. But in the second half, West Virginia came out, made it a game 3 times. Mm-hmm. 3 times. Mm-hmm. Got within 3, within 5, within 6. And to me, I know we're not into moral victories, but I thought that showed the character and the grit of this team that will get you some wins along the way. Because we've seen a million games involving all kinds of different teams where you get down 13-16 and you lose 30, okay? That happens all the time. Didn't happen. They battled their way back against a better team on the road where nobody wins, and I thought put in a supreme effort. Just got worn down by a better team.
Excuse me, breaking news?
Yeah.
Stand by.
Oh, good. It's a live show, so
news,
let people know.
Just looked up here at the Jim Phelan National Coach of the Year website. Dateline, Boston, Massachusetts. Date, January 16, as we record.
It's today?
Yeah, right now. West Virginia's Darren DeVries earns mid-season honor.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Mid-season Coach of the Year.
Did you know that? Or did you just play us for fools and act like you didn't know that was happening?
I don't need to play you for a fool. No. West Virginia head coach Darren DeVries, recipient of the Phelan mid-season honor, the award presented annually to the top head coach in Division I college basketball.
How about that? With
just 2.8% of its scoring from last season's team returning, West Virginia finished 13 in the Big 12, but DeVries has the Mountaineers poised to return to the NCAA tournament after a 2-year hiatus. West Virginia recently broke into the top 25 30 in the latest NCAA net rankings, 5-5 against ranked teams during his career, 3-0 at West Virginia with wins against Gonzaga, Kansas, and Arizona, and a 3-1 after last night.
Mm-hmm.
The wins over Kansas, Gonzaga, and Kansas mark the first time the Mountaineers have beaten two top 10 teams in the same season since 05-06. West Virginia's already surpassed last season's win total of 9 with wins at Kansas and Colorado. Mountaineers have matched their road win total in conference play for the last 3 seasons combined.
That's remarkable.
They were 2-25 the last 3 years in the Big 12 on the road. So there you go. Coach DeVries, congratulations.
Well deserved. Obviously, a lot of season to go, but Hop, we've literally on this show been talking about what a great hire that was since before he was hired. When we were talking about potentially getting hired, Darren and this staff is doing an incredible job putting you in positions to win.
Correct.
Right? You've just battled through injuries, massive injuries. That's the thing, guys. No Tucker DeVries again, or still. And it is next man up. It's no excuses, what Darren always says. But that's an unbelievably massive loss that everybody's just kind of moved on and said, all right, go out there and find ways to win games. Mm-hmm. That's a gigantic loss.
Oh.
A preseason all Big 12 player is out of your roster, and he's even more valuable than that. As valuable as that sounds, he's even more valuable. And yet you're right there, starting 2-1 on the road with your one loss being to a top 5 team. Come on. So well deserved. He should be. I did not know there was a midseason national coach of the year. He's absolutely the choice for midseason coach of the year. It's what it should be.
Yeah.
3 guys does not get a vote in this. We would have voted for him.
That would have been 3 votes right here.
Would have been 3 votes if we would have had that. So very good. 3 guys before the game is brought to us by Comax Business Systems. Of business owners, if you've been putting off getting a new phone system, stop it. You can purchase, lease, or rent your new phone system from Comax. They'll come into a complete free discovery and evaluation of what you need for your business, and then great pricing plans, whether it buy, lease, rent, whatever works for you. Technology today is amazing. Keep track of the people that are working for you. Visit comaxwv.com for their phone systems. You got any obvious observations?
Yeah, I kind of laid out most of them already, but as I said, I think that the Colorado game was the key game there. So you come home 1-1. Yesufu's performance at Colorado, that was just huge. It was kind of a rock fight because all those fouls, and you come away with a win, so that was important. Houston, they're really good. That's a talented team. They're tough at home. I think they get a favorable. I'm not saying the officials cost them a game. I'm not saying that, but I think they get a favorable whistle at home. And they play really tough defense. They're the best defensive team in the league, giving up just 54 points a game. So they're just tough defensively. They wear you down. You know, Javon Roberts and Brad and I were talking about when we were doing show prep, Tony, where Roberts was not their primary scorer, yet last night in the first half, so West Virginia says, okay, we'll just man up on him and don't have to double down. And he just was ambidextrous shooting from left hand, right hand, bouncing off the top of his head, whatever. It was all going in, and was just a handful in the first half, and they took care of that in the second half. So that was a matchup issue in the first half. Hansberry getting those 2 fouls in the first half, that hurt. And them Houston getting points off turnovers. West Virginia didn't have a ton of turnovers, Brad, but it cost them. 12 turnovers, 25 points. So West Virginia battled back in the second half, showed a lot of character, a lot of grit, but they just wear you down. That's what happened.
Some of that stuff, I'll get into a couple of those things here in the stats portion. It was really points off turnovers is what lost you the game. I'll give you some staggering stats from Houston. That was the number one concern for West Virginia going into the game was points off turnovers against them. That's what cost you the game. You're right. The 12 turnovers in and of itself as a raw number is certainly manageable. It's a little bit higher than you want, but manageable. It was the points that were created off those, number one. Number two, when you talk about game planning stuff, part of why Javon Roberts had the game he had was by design. If you watch West Virginia or pay attention to the Mountaineers, they double in the post almost exclusively, given the size differential most of the time. So the ball goes down inside. They'll send a second player at the ball to try and get it out of somebody's hands. Last night, they went into that saying, you know what we're going to do? We do not want to give up those open threes to Cryer and Sharp in particular, who are just fantastic. Shoot the bulk of their shots from 3 and are 2 of the best in America at shooting those. So they said, go ahead and put the ball in Javon Roberts' hands. If he scores 40, so be it. He'll score 40. That means you're not shooting threes. We'll try and get our points on the other end. To Roberts' credit, he made some shots early, and he made some right-handed shots, which he almost never does. He's a 99%. I'm going left. I don't care if you're on my left. I'm still going left. Last night he came back and hit some right-handed shots. That's exactly what you wanted him to do. In the second half, they baited it a little bit. Roberts was feeling good about himself, and he should. Very good first half. He was dominant scoring-wise. Second half, when he got the ball, he started to go to work because he thought, I'm just going to back in and keep scoring. West Virginia then flew double teams at him a couple times, forced him to have 3 turnovers in the second half. So it was a really good job of game planning, and sometimes your plan doesn't work perfectly. The kid responded and made some shots, but you'd rather get beat with that happening than them hitting threes. Now, they also did that. There were only a few times when West Virginia either got caught on a screen or didn't get over the screen, literally a few. Baylor made you pay on almost every one of those. Houston made you pay on almost every one of those.
And DeVries pointed that out, that West Virginia is typically very good, Brad, at fighting through those screens. And when they didn't or couldn't for whatever reason, they made shots.
Yeah, and they were pretty good last night. That wasn't a bad effort with that. Against Arizona, it wasn't a West Virginia level effort going over screens. You just didn't do what you were supposed to do. That was not the case last night. There was literally a handful of them. And Baylor, when you left Cryer in particular open, he knocked him down.
And Tony, when Javon Small, and again, he's having a remarkable year, but when he comes across midcourt and 2 big physical guys are coming up on him, presumably somebody's open, but man, that wears a guy down.
Mm-hmm. Need a little help.
Which he got in the second half, and I'll get into some of Mamani's numbers. That was exactly why you have Amani Hansberry on this roster, because now, Hop, what it does, and I'll dive into this, but looking forward, other teams now that are scouting West Virginia, now you got a problem because you want to double Javon. That's fine, and that's what you should do. Try and get the ball out of his hands. But that's going to leave Amani open for what's called the pick and pop, right, where you back off for the 3. So what's the adjustment? You still want it out of Javon's hands, so you're still going to run 2, but you don't want Amani sitting over there on the wing. So now you're going to rotate somebody up. Now you put Powell over in the corner, and a third pass to Powell or Yesufu becomes the scorer. So that's the cat and mouse game that's going to happen moving forward here.
And they're going to see, again, one of the nation's best defenses on Saturday against Iowa State. We'll talk about that coming up in just a little bit. You ready to do some numbers here?
Let's get in.
So you're going to do Colorado.
I'm going to do mostly Houston. That's what's unfortunate about these road trips, because we'll do more Houston because it just happened. We'll get back in and hit a couple Colorado things because you're right, Hoppy. I don't want to move past that too quickly. That was a really big, significant road win for West Virginia, but we'll begin with Houston here.
So I checked the numbers. We'll just go right to the numbers.
Yeah, let's check the numbers.
Let's jump into the analytics portion of the show.
This is Spreads on Stats. That's brought to us by the Conley CPA Group. That's right, the Conley CPA Group. They can provide value beyond numbers. I mean, in essence, what they are, they're just terrific. They are consultants to businesses throughout the state of West Virginia and beyond. Outsourcing your accounting, they can take care of that. You say, hey, here's our situation. Here's what we have. Can you guys help us with that? They go, yeah, we can outsource your accounting for you. Also outsource CFO services, Chief Financial Officer. I don't know if Kirchhoff Communications, his new company that he started since he's retired from here, if they need a CFO, but Conley CPA, they could come in there and do that. All you got to do is call Mike. So audit and assurance, tax planning prep, consulting advisory, Conley CPA. All right. What do the numbers say?
First and foremost, let's dive in a little bit to what we just talked about. The game last night was decided on points off turnovers, and that's a category that West Virginia has been very good at this season, one of the best in the country, in fact. Last night it went the other way, and again, Hop, we talked about going into that game. That was Darren's number one concern. He kept preaching, you just cannot turn it over, and you can't do it in the live ball situation when there's action going on, which will allow Houston to get out and go, make shots, and get the crowd going. Last night, West Virginia had 7 live ball turnovers. Houston converted that into 2.14 points per possession. So literally a basket plus on every single one of your turnovers. They were 3 of 4 from three-point land off live ball turnovers.
That hurts.
3
Leaves a
threes,
scar.
Yeah.
3 made threes off 7 live ball turnovers. And that's what they do, Hop. They came in shooting 46% from 3 off those live ball turnovers. They were 75% from 3 last night. They just simply didn't miss. There were 5 more turnovers that were dead balls. Houston converted those into 2 points per possession. 2 of 3 from 3. So that's 5 of 7 from 3-point land off West Virginia's turnovers last night. Full stop, ball game right there. You don't need any more numbers that I'm going to give you, but that was the difference in the game last night. I will give you some more numbers though. Last night, this speaks to Hop, what West Virginia was able to do. Even again, you're right, there's no moral victories, and you're right that you're in to win the game, but I think you also, over the course of a long basketball season, given what West Virginia is dealing with without being at full strength with one of its best players, I think you got to put some of this in context and see what they're doing so far. Here's one for you. Houston's the number 1 defensive efficiency team in the country per KenPom, the very best defensive team, and they've been right there most of the season. If you took their defensive performance last night, their numbers against West Virginia, and if they averaged that for an entire season, they'd be in the 66th percentile nationally. That shows you the effect West Virginia had in that game. And it just missed a few shots. There were some open shots there that if West Virginia knocks down, or when it gets it to 3 or 5, and you get one more bucket right there, then Houston's in some real trouble there. They might not have won the game. Houston's very tough to beat at home. What'd you have that number?
34.
90-some.
Or
90-some
100
percent.
I'll find
It's
it.
outrageous at home. So you may not have won, but you went into that without one of your 2 best players and put on a performance against them that they really haven't had all season, right? In Big 12 play, certainly. So I thought that was pretty impressive. Here's another thing to watch. This also affects moving forward. Evan Miyakawa, evanmia.com, put out a graphic yesterday that listed teams. It was in a graphic form that went on teams that go on 10-0 runs or more, called kill shots, and then how many do they go on versus how many do they give up, like on an XY axis there. Houston is in one of the top 2 teams, one of the top 5 teams in terms of going on 10-0 runs. But they're one of the 2 best, along with Arizona, who West Virginia just saw, in not giving up 10-point runs. So last night, go look at that number, Hop. Houston had a 14-0 run, an 11-0 run, and a 9-0 run, which didn't qualify for that number, but it was right up against it. West Virginia had none of those. So Houston did what it did. It was able to get those turnovers and lead to 2 big runs or kill shots. Hard to get wins when you give up 2 or more of those in a game.
And they went on those runs when West Virginia got within a couple.
Yeah, they answered very well.
Yeah, that's what good national championship contending teams do. They answered. Here's a side note, though. Of the top 5 or 6 teams in the country in terms of who has the most kill shots, who goes on the most runs,
Yeah.
Arizona was up there. Houston was up there.
Don't give me Iowa State.
Here comes Iowa State. So they're similar, and we'll get
Why
into
you gotta do that?
We'll get into a little Iowa State preview. Not too dissimilar from what you saw last night. A really aggressive team that wants to bully you defensively and has made themselves a better offensive team. Iowa State's offensive efficiency numbers are better than where they've been, so it's a dangerous team coming in here Saturday.
Lined up, took Kansas last night,
Beat them.
kicked them around,
Start
Beat
to finish.
beat them 17.
Yeah.
That's Kansas. Kansas Jayhawks.
Watched a little bit of that. Just a dominant performance by Iowa State. They were at home. They were all greased up. Just
Howsomever. Last Saturday, the Iowa Staters went to Lubbock, Texas Tech's there, and they were beat.
they were defeated.
Texas Tech misses 2 90% free throw shooters, missed foul shots for Texas Tech, which allowed the Cyclones to win that game. So you're a different team when you're on the road, and a sold-out crowd here on Saturday could provide some tremendous energy and juice, and you just hope they're off a little bit. You're on a lot, and you take your swing.
Let's talk some more offense for West Virginia. Let's go back to points off turnovers for just a second. What West Virginia or what Houston finished with last night? 25 points.
25
off turnovers.
on 12.
In the road wins over Kansas and Colorado, West Virginia only gave up 5 points combined on live ball turnovers.
Wow.
Wonder why you won 2 road games there?
Yeah.
Right? So that was a big difference. Here's some more numbers West Virginia offensively. If you take the Mountaineers' points per possession for the game last night, it ended at .982. So almost 1 point for every possession. To put that in context, the .982 against the nation's number one defense, if you did that over the course of your season, you would be the 83rd most efficient offense in the country out of 367 teams. So that's top 23% of teams against the number one defense. So you were doing some good things last night. In the second half, you jumped it to 1.038 points per possession. That's 24th nationally if you average it over a season. So you went on the road on the second of a back-to-back long road trip against the best defense in the country and put up a top 25 type of offensive effort without playing one of your best games, right? I don't think that felt like one of West Virginia's best offensive games, but you just put some numbers on paper there that were pretty solid. Let's talk about things to build upon. I think you walked out of that arena disappointed in the loss, disappointed in the margin of victory, but there were some things within that game where you went, you know what, we had a chance to be right there throwing last punch at the end of the game.
Here's that Houston record. Since they renovated what was the Hoff-Hines Pavilion, and they reopened it in 2018, they are now 103-6 in the building. That's 94%. And their current streak with their win against West Virginia, they've won 32 games in a row there going back to the 28th of January 2023.
It didn't look like there was a big house there last night. Was there? I couldn't.
They seat 7,000.
7,100. Yeah.
7,100.
Oh, so
I mean, it wasn't jam-packed. That's a hard job, man. Houston's Houston's a big city.
Yeah.
And guess what? We were walking around there, like where we were staying. People are all over the place. We were near the medical complexes. And we said, you think anyone knows Houston's playing tonight? No. It's not on the radar, man. It's like not on the radar. So that arena of 7,000 is perfect for them. But they can get lost if they're not really super good. Now think about this. They're a top 10 team in the country. They're a team that's got a Final Four. You would think it would be locked out, but it's not.
Well, like
that.
you said, I mean, the upside of a big city is it's a big city. There's a lot of things. There's a lot of players. There's this and that. The downside is there's a lot of stuff. So people have other options. And, I looked at the Houston newspaper this morning. It wasn't the lead story.
No.
It wasn't the lead sports story.
Texans are playing, man.
And the
Rockets are really good.
Rockets are really good.
So,
yeah.
Okay, a couple other things. Let's go back to Amani for a second with those three big threes. Hoppy, I think that's big moving forward because of what I said earlier. Now upcoming opponents have some more tape on him making those shots. Look at what Amani's done against the best teams West Virginia's played. I'm talking about Houston, Arizona in the latest iteration of that game, Louisville, and Gonzaga. So you take those four teams, all having great years, three of which are in the top 15, two in the top 10. And Louisville's having a nice year. They're going to be right in the hunt for second in that ACC. Armani in those four games has 10 threes on 42% shooting. That's critical moving forward. One, just to keep up that performance, can he keep with a couple of threes per game moving forward? One, but two, the threat of him doing that is really big for this offense and the offensive efficiency moving forward. Flip over to the aforementioned Jawan Roberts. Let's talk about him for a second. You mentioned Hop. He was really good in the first half. He was a matchup problem. Again, some of that was by design to let him work one-on-one rather than just give up open threes. He's had 10 or more shot attempts in just 5 games all season, has Roberts. 4 of those have been in the last 5 games he's played. So other teams seeing the same thing. They're trying to not let Cryer and Sharp beat you. In 4 of those last 5 games where he's had 10 or more shots, he's had exactly 13 shot attempts in the game, which is wild. Just a wild coincidence there. That's his most in a game. The 2 previous games prior to West Virginia, this shows what an outlier that was. In the 2 previous games, he'd shot 39% and 46% from the floor. He shot 77% against West Virginia. So give him credit. He made the shots last night. He also, against West Virginia, had a season-high 3 turnovers. So sometimes you put a really smart plan in place, and that's why you do it, to take advantage of a guy that had been struggling from the floor, and he made some shots last night. So credit to him.
By the way, Cryer and Sharp, some of those jump shots, Tony, were from downtown Houston. I mean, those were long shots.
They're superb.
Yeah, and the other I might have this wrong. I thought that Hansberry actually had 12 points in a row. Am I wrong about that? He had 3 threes in a row, and then I thought he had a conventional 3.
He might. I remember at least 9. He might have had 12. He might have. I remember 9.
I can check that out.
Here's another one. You mentioned Cryer.
Yeah.
I ran out of time here before the show started. Didn't get all the way back. I think I've got the bulk of these. I've got him in the last 5 games against West Virginia. 23 threes. Starting in reverse order from last night. 5, 4 in a game. 2023 played twice. He had 1 3 in the first time they met, 8 threes in the second time, and then 2022, one of the matchups, he had 5 more. He's been a mountain killer.
One of the differences, one of the challenges in this league, going back to stating the obvious, is with this level of competition. When you're playing an average team, what do you hope will happen? They'll screw it up. Launch a bad 3, miss it, you get the rebound. They'll do a stupid foul. At this level of competition, typically do not get those kind of breaks. They don't screw it up as often as you'd like. You said, you can have a great plan, like, oh, that was the plan. It's a good plan. The guy makes shots.
You got to go take games. And West Virginia's done that. It took the Kansas game. It took the Colorado game. It took Oklahoma State at home. Arizona took it from West Virginia, and Houston.
Yeah, dictated.
Did it last night. So that's what happens.
You're correct. Hansberry scored 12 straight West Virginia points. They were down 10, 49-39. He hits a 3, hits a 3. They hit a 2. He hits a conventional old-school three-point play. Cryer misses. Hansberry another 3, and he got it down to 51-48 with 12:36 to go.
That's who you were right there when you got it down to 3. And they probably went on a run. That might have been one of the runs, too.
Let's jump back to Colorado for just a second. I mentioned the low points off turnovers that West Virginia gave up. That was critical and probably the difference in that game. But go back to Javon Small for a second in that game, guys. 26 points, 7 assists, 4 rebounds. He was electric. And Tony, there was a stretch there to begin the second half when he was just simply unguardable, and he did it again last night. He is the number one focus of these scouting reports. And Hoppy, he's out there. He's truly unguardable. He's been unguardable in these games. 26 for him. Josie Esafu coming through with 18 in that game was just simply critical. He had 2 threes, couple drives to the basket that were big. Eduardo Andre, go back to what he did against Colorado. 5 of 5 from the floor in that game, gave you 12 points. He was outstanding. So plenty of efforts to go around over the last couple of games.
Absolutely. 3 Guys Before the Game is brought to us by our good friends at Lou Wendell Marine Sales. I was talking to a boating buddy of mine the other day.
Yeah.
He's looking.
Oh, really?
Because I steered him stern side over to Lou Wendell Marine Sales because now's a great time. Whether you are in the pontoon world, how about these Gator Tough John Series boats? They're really, really special. What do they give you? Durability, dependability, and value, and they're available to you, the G3 Johns. Great, great boats. So if you're a fisher or an outdoorsman of any stretch, they're available to you at our good buddies at Lou Wendell Marine Sales, also in those pontoons, Avalon pontoon boats. We were talking to someone just the other day had a pontoon. Where were we, dude? We were talking to someone who had a pontoon. Oh, Fred. Fred had a pontoon. Fred was on the trip with us. Fred's a Charleston area-based guy. So check it out, LouWendellMarineSales.com. Time for the preview of Iowa State.
Yeah, let's do a little one.
They're good. Thank you very much. We'll be back.
Oh, I have one thing. That's all I have.
Go ahead.
He really has not changed since he retired.
Curtis Jones. Go, Brad.
Curtis Jones really good. Iowa State comes in 4th in Ken Palm, number 2 in the polls, highest ranking ever. They own the nation's longest active win streak at 12. Their only loss this season was to top-ranked Auburn by 2. They have been as elite as you can get. Number 5, defensive efficiency. Number 8, offensive efficiency. And I do think that's the big difference with them. I think there's been times the last couple of years when their offense could get bogged down and couldn't carry them through. I don't think that's the case now, and Curtis Jones is a big reason why. He's going to come in firing.
25 against Kansas.
Yeah, he'll come in and he'll get his shots up there. But this is going to be a West Virginia team. Similar keys to what we just talked about. You're going to have to handle their pressure. You're going to have to handle their traps. You're going to have to swing the extra pass when they try and pinch you down into one side of the court and eliminate eliminate the other side, you're going to have to be willing and able to reverse that ball and get some open looks. This will present a real challenge. If you wanna try and find glimmers in here, I think you're not wrong when you talked about the situational spot. Come in off a big win against Kansas. You have to go on the road. You're getting a West Virginia team off a loss that'll be anxious to get back home on what will be a big day honoring Jerry West. Sold out, packed building. If West Virginia can start and make some shots here early, that environment's going to be pretty special on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now, big injury news for Iowa State. Milan Mamasilovic. Am I saying that right?
You said it a lot better than I have in the
Mamasilovic.
past. That's always that's a monosyllabic problem is what it is.
One of their best players, 6'8", frontline player, out, it looks like, coming up on Saturday. So West Virginia, of course, has been without Tucker DeVries. If he's out again and Milan's out, that I don't know if that's advantage West Virginia, but it certainly helps to take one of their very best players out of that lineup.
Didn't slow him down too much last night, did it?
Did not.
No.
Did not.
Yeah. Anyway, take your shot, man.
5 o'clock, is that right?
5 o'clock. Yeah.
Yeah.
Second one of those we've had this year, right? Second 5 o'clocker.
Eastern?
It will be in the Eastern time. So it'll be body clock-wise, it'll be 4 o'clock for the Iowa Staters. But it'll be a great electric atmosphere. Yeah. The West family will be here. And it'll be a great honor just to give Jerry his well-recognized due here. As the
it should be very
celebrate.
emotional. You guys should be proud to be a part of that. You'll be part of that Saturday.
That'll be
well done.
That's a special time.
Couple quick numbers before you move on here. I mentioned it's a similar plan to what you went into with Houston. Points off turnovers is going to be massive. On the season, Iowa State gets 22 points per game off of its turnovers. West Virginia on the season gets 15. So again, which of those teams is going to win that part of it? Can you turn them over? They've been pretty good. Iowa State has it not turning it over. So you've got to protect it, make that extra pass, and then knock down some open shots. They'll also get on the offensive glass as well. So you're going to have to, just like you did last night, which you did a pretty good job last night against Houston in keeping them off the glass. Some of that's they shot so well for the first half. There weren't a lot of opportunities, but I thought West Virginia did a nice job of limiting them at times. You were going to say something, Hop?
I was just going to say that, Tony, I know that most people listen to you all, some watch on ESPN Plus, that they had a problem.
That's going to come up in Textual Healing, but go ahead.
Oh, all right, that's fine.
No, go ahead. What did you say,
Well,
Hoppy?
they started the game, and all they had was the baseline camera.
Huh?
That's all they had.
What?
Was the first 4 minutes of the game, just the baseline camera, just a guy running the camera. It was like
hate to hear that.
I think our angle was pretty good all night, right from the tip on radio.
It was like your dad shooting home video. I mean, it was all over the place.
Oh, geez.
No bug with the score. So I'm sure your already large audience increased even more because.
Oh, boy. Hate to hear that.
I know you do. I almost texted you guys, but I thought you'd look at it and go, "Stop! I'm doing the game. Stop texting me." So I didn't.
You know what my response would have been?
What?
Good.
I know what would have been.
Good. Yeah.
One last thing. Live ball turnovers.
Yeah.
Right? We talked about that a lot.
A lot.
Might be the most mentioned term on this show outside of Andy Kotelnicki.
All right.
Right? Live ball turnovers number 2.
It's past Kotelnicki.
On the season, Iowa State averages 1.5 points per possession off a live ball turnover. So we said Houston was at 2 last night, and it was the difference in the game. Iowa State's average is 1.5. If I do my percentiles for you, that's 100th percentile if they do that for the season. So watch that.
What's a high school cheer kid? Protect that basketball. Protect that basketball.
Cyclones shoot 75% from 2 off of those turnovers. So key area. There's a
Hold
little
on to
preview.
the ball.
My number 1 key coming up for the game on Saturday.
It's turnovers.
Turnovers.
Wait a minute. Is this a carryover from football?
I did it every football game, and I've carried over every basketball game.
Well, it is. It's relevant.
And that's obvious.
By the way, you would notice because the West Virginia women's team won last night by turning over their opponent 30 times.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Coach Kellogg, I'm glad they won that game. 73-46, the women won.
Return beatdown.
Yeah, so it was kind of wild. It was West Virginia's down 7 at the end of the first quarter, 22-15. And then West Virginia says, oh, is that right? Outscores them 16-2 in the second quarter. Third quarter, it's even, 18-16 West Virginia. And then fourth quarter, West Virginia 24-6. You know why?
Why?
De-elevation. Colorado was suffering from de-elevation.
Too much oxygen.
Got down to sea level. They couldn't handle it. They over O2'd.
Are we still in the Conley CPA spreads on
No,
stats
we're done
segment?
with that. Would you look at the clock?
Yeah, I got to go.
Okay.
One more.
No.
West Virginia's women last night,
Yeah.
21 live ball turnovers, 1.52 points per possession. So
What was it?
21 live ball turnovers, 1.52 points per possession off of those. So again, that's why the two parts of that's critical. It's not just getting the turnovers, it's converting into points. West Virginia's women did that last night.
Last night, I was watching one of the sports programs prior to your all's broadcast. And the trend now, the new trend, there's always a
He's
new.
going to give us sports trends here. He's now doing sports trends.
He gave us I was watching one of the sports programs.
One of the sports trends.
Oh, were you watching one of the sports programs, Hoppy? Did that come on after the
He
evening
doesn't
news?
care about the House bills anymore. Now he's going to give us a trend in sports. Here we go.
I was watching the sports program.
I turned the channel on after supper. I turned the channel on.
Doesn't care about the Clay County election. Local election.
Just that
Go ahead.
A couple of the more successful NBA teams are doing what? They're concentrating on defense. Defense, not just scoring 130 points.
Yeah,
Defense.
true that. All right, ready to do this now? Okay, let's do this.
And then I heard.
Three guys before the game. This is Textual Healing, brought to us by episode800.com. That's the spot where you can get all of our stuff. And the unbelievable folks at Mountaineer Popcorn are bringing it back. Our Valentine's Delight Popcorn.
Oh,
That stuff is good.
That is right, and it is available for a limited time. That's right. I said a limited time availability. Order it now. Get it for Valentine's Day, or just I'd stockpile that stuff, what you need to do. But it's available on our website right now. It's all kind of good stuff. All right, here we go. You guys ready for Textual Healing?
yes.
Texter says, beer of the month spotted at the Whitehall Go-Mart on Friday. I got a full tank of gas, but I had to stop to get this picture made. Dean from Parsons now in Fairmont. There it is. We're on top of the gas tanks.
Oh.
Gas pumps. Right there, Connection 304, beer of the month at your local Go-Mart. Check it out.
I'm still searching. I stopped at a Go-Mart.
Yeah.
Didn't seem to have it.
Yeah. Got to keep looking. It's on.
I'll stop at the other one.
It's at a ton of them. Tony Brad Hoppy, John in Alabama, after watching Andy Kotelnicki with his offensive performance in that playoff game with 0 catches by a wide receiver. You kidding me? Anyway, I'm excited to see who we land in the portal today. I'm loving this daily WVU excitement. Attached is a picture of a rare snow event in Huntsville, Alabama. This snowman will just line up and beat the other SEC snowmans in the neighborhood. Take a look at that thing.
Oh, my.
It's an anemic snowman, very long, looks like a 5-man.
What's that?
That's a snowman that's very tall and long. They got to do that. It's a different kind of snow in Alabama.
Guess maybe could be a stretch 4 as well.
He's a stretch 4, yes. Texter, hello, doctor, and the other guys. I'm wondering about this new age of college ball, quality of the games, both foot and basketball. As we do more free agency, what's the break point that you're not developing culture in players? We are losing fundamental skills that overall make the game better. I understand guys need and should get paid, but at what point does the revenue dry up because the quality of the game isn't worth the price of admission? Chris from the Cape, formerly of Mullins. Never. They'll keep watching it. Fundamentals have been gone from the game for a ton of time. Be quite honest. My opinion. They'll keep watching. Numbers keep showing it. Hey, three guys, watching the first half of the Colorado game, you can see the connected effort to get different guys' looks. A lot of screen the screener for Powell, where he sets a go screen on the ball, immediately gets a fade screen for a look at 3. I know we keep saying this, but seeing the offensive in-game adjustments throughout the season, responding to what teams are doing to us defensively is great from DeVries. Well, probably why he got named midseason coach of the year. Premature to extend him and try to lock him in for a longer period of time. Sammy and Morgantown.
A question.
Go.
From you guys. Twice last night, there were calls of offensive foul in West Virginia for the what we used to call in the old day moving screen.
Oh, is that right, Hop? They called a couple of those last night, did they?
They called 2 of those.
Huh.
So is that where how's it? Well, you guys explain it.
Well, it's 2 things. You can literally be moving while you're doing it, which is called. You've got to be stationary. One of the calls last night, they claimed Amani got the elbow extended out on the screen rather than. They generally say if it's tucked within the cylinder of your body,
Okay.
you're probably okay. They claimed it got outside.
What was the other one?
That's a really tough call, in my opinion. The guys are moving a lot on those screens, and it's hard to, in my opinion, hard to tell if it's a moving screen. Guys are great at disguising it because they're starting their role part of it as well.
Yes.
Those are tough calls to get.
One of the explanations was that Javon Small had started to use the screen while the screen was still being set. That seemed very. I don't hear that called very often. That seemed pretty nitpicky to me. But you guys explain it.
It's
Tony.
nitpicky when you're in a game that's an absolute just punch fest.
Yes.
Elbows into the back, everything, and you call that ticky-tack horse crap? That's what I say.
I mean,
Next.
there's screens on every possession. I mean, you're gonna. It's like holding.
Don't, as he always says, don't major in the minors. Like, if you want to call a foul, make sure it is an absolute bang instead of some ticky-tack ballet little thing. Next. Ted from Colorado. Tony, it was great to visit with you and Brad on Sunday. I was surprised with how much you guys interact with the fans before the game. You're great ambassadors for WVU. There was a common theme as we moved around Boulder on Sunday, and that was this. Where did all you people come from?
What do you mean, you people?
West Virginia was well represented. Here we go, Hop. So there's a picture. That's him.
There we go.
That's how, and Brad, I don't know what he was doing back there. He was posing for another picture. And then this is a group of Mountaineer fans. Take a look at this next one. There was a lot more than that, but that was just one contingent.
Yeah.
Mountaineer fan turnout was tremendous in West Virginia's first ever hoop game in Colorado. Tony and Brad.
Thanks to all that came down and talked to us. We had a bunch of them come down and say hello. We got their picture made.
Yeah, here's another one. Great to meet you guys in Boulder. My son now keeps telling people that he met some super famous dudes and he's going to be on TV, so I had to send the pictures that we had made with you. I just wish Brad would have tried to pick me up to match Tony's macho hefting of my boy. I feel like I should have asked the question, how does the CU Events Center rank against other Big 12 road venues? Thanks for keeping the Mountaineer Out West connected to home with your podcast, Adam in Denver. So there we go. His sign says, Tony and Brad, can I be the third guy since Hoppy retired? Right there on the Colorado campus. And then we met that little Sparky and his dad later on inside the arena. It was great to see those guys. Yeah.
Trying to
He
get
had the nice Garrett Green Coal Rush jersey on too, Hoppy.
Yeah.
You see that?
Well done.
Good. Thanks, Adam.
Good job.
There's a question from a texter about officiating. He says they're calling traveling different in men's and women's games. Do we notice that? There was a travel or two last night against them old boys that, are you kidding me? Anyway,
What are you
Greg
saying?
and Pittman, just don't get me started.
What are you saying?
There were travels that were missed.
Greg in Pittsburgh, as you have all said before, winning conference games on the road is hard. Huge win for the guys. One quick note to the Senator. You had quite a reaction to Joe Yesufu's and one in the second half that was caught on camera. You look like me in my living room on the play. Hopefully they can play tough against Houston and Iowa State this week, keeping things. Did you react? I mean,
Probably.
what are you doing? Do you need an orientation on behavior on the press table? You have to behave yourself.
What did he do, Tony?
He jumps up. He
Really?
took his shirt off, pounded his chest. I thought it was quite unprofessional.
See, he hadn't had anybody that can watch him in years past. You think he's sitting there all stoic? No. So the poor guy that sits to my right, whoever it may be, is there's a lot of physical at the scores table. There's a lot of movement in there.
Oh,
like
really?
I'm
He's
getting
getting
hit on the other side.
Because he's excited?
He's excited. I'm excited. We're hit move. There's a lot of things going on.
But when there's not exciting action, here's my impression of Tony doing the game. I think I've done this before.
Stop.
We haven't had a lot of those moments so far this year.
No, it's been good.
Been good moments.
Yeah, I always look for you guys. Looks like you're pretty tight in there usually.
Last night,
I
we
guess
were
in
off
there
camera last night, right?
Yeah,
Because
we
we
were
were
on
on
the
the
other
other side.
Which is fine.
Three guys, TC, color guy, and part-time Hoppy. Been a busy few months. Coaches fired, coaches hires, players coming and going. I wanted to share an update on Cash. He had his final open heart procedure October the 2nd. Spent 22 days at UPMC before heading home. He's doing great. Even had a little sister that arrived on the planet while we waited to go home. How about that? While at UPMC, we got to meet a couple of former Mountaineers, Beanie Bishop and Doug Nestor.
All right.
Awesome.
I think I was more happy than Cash was, but he'll appreciate this later on the road. Jake, if you would show those pictures of the former Mountaineers, now Steelers. There's Dougie Nestor.
Yeah.
And there's the dad and young Cash. And then just a month after, and there's Beanie with them.
Well, they came to the hospital?
They went to UPMC.
Oh, nice.
Where he was. Beanie might have intercepted the kid. What do you think, Brad? Beanie got an interception there as well.
He does that, doesn't he?
And then he said, and this is that video that I sent to you, Jake, less than, let's see, a month and a half after he came home from that heart procedure, he went to a Mountaineer football game, and he got fired up and was running around in the stands dancing. There he is. Now, it's not great video, but you can see the little guy. There's the little guy off to your left, and the music is on, and then he gets fired up. He fired up, man, like, there you go. So he goes from an extended stay at the hospital with a massive procedure, and then he got things going on there. So awesome.
Good job. Well done.
Thank you very much. That's from Don.
Glad
Thanks,
to hear.
Don.
Yeah.
Next up, Tony,
Good job,
just wanted to let Hoppy know that after several years of not winning my fantasy football, they got decided to change my team's name to honor Hoppy. My team name this year was H3 Squared, which is Hoppy, Hoppy, Hoppy.
Excellent.
I had my best year ever in fantasy football, 13-2, won a championship. Thank you, Steve, also known as the East Bank guy.
Great job.
That's and make your NIL check to Kirchhoff Creative.
Hey, three guys. Sean in Morgantown, longtime listener. First time I texted. Proud dad moment. This is neat. My son Micah is a freshman at University High, runs cross country and track. I had the opportunity with him this weekend to run with him. Most days he runs with his teammates, but because of the snow, he went solo. I told him, it's okay, I'll run with you. He gave me a disappointed look and said, I was actually really going to hope to catch up on three guys.
Yeah.
I'm not one to curb his passion for all things, especially three guys, so we silently ran 10 miles through Morgantown as he listened to three guys. I think I had a smile on my face for the first mile or so. I've been a fan of the three of you for a long time, but I know you've gained another huge fan. There he is, Dad, and that's a young demo for us, a young listener.
Yeah, and Micah's great. I've known him for a while. That's Sean and Micah Gaynor. They're outstanding. Thank you guys for listening, and that's true. Micah, that's not just a fake text there. He'll get in there and he'll listen. Micah knows his stuff. Keep an eye on him too.
All
He's
right.
going to be somebody to watch in the track and field world.
I'm impressed
Thanks,
that
guys.
dad can keep up with his son on the 10-mile.
Sean can run now.
He can do it?
Run. Yeah, college athlete, college runner.
All right. Good.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Three guys.
Thanks, guys.
This was kind of interesting. I don't know if you saw this on the social medias this past week, but a British dude went to Tutor's Biscuit World and videotaped his first ever eating of a Tutor's biscuit while he went in. They videotaped him.
Who did?
This is a social media account. He said, okay, I'm out front here of Tutor's Biscuits. I'm in Somersville, and I'm going in.
Did he order the three guys biscuit?
I don't know exactly which one he had, but he mucked it up pretty good. He put stuff on it. He absolutely loved it. And why wouldn't you? I mean, their world championship biscuits last March, they won, as you all know, they won that award that named them the South's best biscuit.
Went on the road, won.
Yeah.
Lined up.
Garden and Gun magazine last March, 32 different biscuit makers were in an intense competition. And that baby right there, the Mountaineer, won it all. Country ham, egg, cheese, crispy hash brown, crowned the South's best biscuit.
Did you get a biscuit on the road? Probably didn't, did you?
Did not.
Okay.
We ate a few other things. So if you're interested, make sure when it comes time to get yourself a little something when you're on the road or hankering for something, go to Tutor's Biscuit World. Absolutely fantastic. Over 70 locations. And they are currently franchising if you are interested. So congratulations to the dude from Britain that liked the biscuit from Tutor's Biscuit World. Alan in Morgantown. Hey, three guys, I'm efforting to get caught up on the shows. I'm glad I listened to the last one. I learned that Columbus came to America with a Lou Wendell pontoon.
Well, not confirmed.
I also heard Comac's business systems, because of its high quality of printing machines, was questioned if they were involved in the Shroud of Turin. I think the resolution would work for that. Also, Hayden from Morgantown, by the way of Bridgeport, home of the show's frequently mentioned Ross Mara. I want to give Homeless Dave and the three guys a quick shout-out for always going above and beyond. I ordered a Mountaineer popcorn tin signed by the crew that Dave is hand-delivering to me due to the timing issues on the original shipment. He came right to their house. I've heard similar stories before about Dave's tireless efforting and I do appreciate the A+ customer service. Thank you for all you guys do to uplift WVU athletics and the entire state. P.S. Congratulations to the dean on his recent retirement. I hope Hoppy vlogs his biking excursion across Iowa.
Hey, I had
Dave's terrific. By the way, Jake Hour's dad, I'll connect you with him. He heard about your excursion, would like to talk to you before you do that.
Oh, I'd like to do that. Yeah.
So don't sleep on the hills you're going to encounter.
Oh. I had a double hit this week. Stopped at Go-Mart, was looking for Connection 304.
It's the beer of the month.
Yeah, beer of the month. And another person was getting gas. I was getting gas. He was getting gas. Came up and said, hey, I was at the Three Guys tailgate. So it was at Go-Mart, Three Guys tailgate guy, and Connection 304.
Excellent.
So it was a triumphant.
By the way, you got to hustle on the beer of the month, right? What is it, 16? So we're halfway through here for beer of the month at what, 70-some Go-Mart locations? Mm-hmm. Head in, get your Connection 304.
Yeah, you got to do that. You know the popcorn that I mentioned earlier from Mountaineer Popcorn?
The Valentine's
special?
We need to get this fixed. As you all know, if you're regular listeners, we insist, all BSing and kidding aside, we do a lot of kidding here. We are truly trying to help West Virginia-based businesses. This Mountaineer Popcorn thing's making me pissed off.
What? Excuse me?
Get me pissed off. So they had the Shepherdstown location, right?
No, added Martinsburg.
Yeah, and they added Martinsburg. Hey, Jake, show this picture. So remember I've been telling you about this fish sign?
Yeah, in Martinsburg.
So they took over a building. Okay, that's the building. And that little easel to the left of the post there says Mountaineer Popcorn. They can't take that sign down and just put a sign that says Mountaineer Popcorn.
Well, what do you mean? It's not Season's Best Seafood anymore. Why would the sign stay up?
Well, they got to go through this big variance thing and send all of on their dime, they got to send all of these letters out to all of these people around them and says, hey, can we change that and just put a sign up that says Mountaineer Popcorn? I mean, you could go vinyl. Can we get that fixed? Can we do business?
Wait. The name of the business is Mountaineer Popcorn. They can't put their own sign on their own building that they own?
No.
So they leave a sign of the former business?
Yeah.
Well, how do you know what business is in there?
Thank you. They got to go through
Should
all
they
this.
Put the popcorn sign on there?
Can we promote a business in West Virginia?
I don't understand.
Seafood place?
Well, you're misunderstanding that, I'm sure. You can certainly put the name of your business on a sign on your business.
No.
I think you've got that wrong. There's no way you couldn't put the name of your business on a sign on your business.
You know what I would do?
What are you talking about?
I would sometimes do it and apologize later.
They say it would cost tens of thousands of dollars to secure the variance to update the sign.
I don't
to
understand
the name of the
that.
business?
Yeah.
I still think you're reading it wrong. Well, you got to be able to put the name of your business on your business.
Texter says, Tony Brad, retired guy. Is Wyatt Minor the first RCB grad to play for West Virginia since Georgie Shell?
Youngstown State offensive lineman transfer.
Could be.
It's good to have him in. So wait a minute. So like the Aldi that's down the street there by the Star City Bridge, that Aldi down there, that's where the former Hills used to be. Yeah. Is the Hills sign still on there?
Or Rax restaurants?
Does the Sherman-Williams paint store have the racks? Am I going to go down there and get a burger and cheese at the Sherman-Williams? And I'm going to say, well, what do you mean you have
Well,
paint?
let me tell you something.
What do you mean you have paint? There's a Rax sign here. It was Rax 18
What
years
about-
ago.
what about when
Should
they-
be Rax?
Star City is much more open to business, apparently, than other people in the Eastern
I mean, when
Panhandle.
there used to be a Wendy's where the Sheets is, go in there, want a Wendy's Frosty. Can't
Free Mountaineer Popcorn. Free Mountaineer
No,
Popcorn from this onerous
We'll get
BS.
Well, you've got that wrong. There's no way they can't put their own business on the sign. You've got it wrong.
call them up, Tony, and
I think he's misread that. I mean, they got to be able to put the name of the business on there.
what about where the Sheets is, where the old strip club used to be?
Where?
On the mile ground.
Oh, yeah.
They didn't leave that in.
Hey, that's Valentine Velvet Delight is the popcorn. It's
Go and get
available
your
for a
MTO
limited time.
sub there. You walk
Orders,
in and go, that's not what I thought I was walking into.
orders must be placed by February 3rd. Okay, so we went on this 5-day road trip. Let's take a look at some of Brad and Tony's excellent adventure.
Oh,
I mentioned that it started with a delayed bus thing. They made us go to Pittsburgh because, I don't know, Bridgeport doesn't have shovels or something to get the snow off the runway.
easy.
And so
Safety of the players.
they
and staff.
had to take us to get food, so we went to Permanis. Jake, you first sandwich, please. So
Which Permanis? Right here in town?
no, near Robert Morris. So that was the capicola with an egg and the fries on it. Tastes very good. Had a good. If you take a look at the blend on this, go ahead, Jake. It was a good combination mixture.
Oh, it's
Yeah,
nice.
very nice, very civilized. Got us in and out. Shout out to their manager there. In and out, 45 people in 90 minutes.
Call
It was
ahead.
perfect.
Call ahead.
Yeah, we just said, hey, we're coming. Next picture, Jake. So then what happened? Oh, had a situation
You
on
didn't
the
get a
plane
picture
here.
of my sandwich?
Hoppy had a situation on the plane. Here I am trying to do game prep. Had a guy behind me head into the window.
Okay, we're going to do this.
Rather
This
tired.
is how we're going to do travel?
Next one, Jake, if you would, please.
He was awake. I don't know
Oh.
how he got the picture. He was awake for about 15 seconds of all the different legs of travel.
Yeah, that's
That whole trip, I was resting my eyes. That whole trip, I was up.
So
So
here,
that's what we're going to do now. Okay, that's what we're going to do that.
Sunday
That's
morning.
how we're going to play on the road. That right? We'll have some pictures, future games. That's what we're going to do, Kercheval.
Sunday
We're going
morning.
to do that.
Tony,
Sunday-
you shouldn't have started
No,
that,
we're going
Tony.
to line up now. Going to line up.
Sunday morning, coffee in Boulder had a very nice place. I forget the name of the place. It was really
Flatiron
good.
Coffee.
Flatiron Coffee.
Oh.
Shut it. The girl was very nice there.
They're not
mountains in
serving game day grind yet, but we're working on
Yeah.
that.
Next one there, Jake. You can roll these. This was a gentleman here, lives in Colorado, from Kaiser native. I attacked him and said, "You actually are from Burlington." He said, "No, Kaiser proper is what he
Okay.
said, from Kaiser proper." He had a big
Well
contingent of fans there. Good to see him. Next up here, Jake. What else do we have? Oh, this is little Mikey Farabee, who was my neighbor across the street growing up, and his lovely wife. Her dad is a P1 Three Guys listener. Michael now is a mine engineer, and the device or the product that they're mining there in Colorado is pretty wild. It makes like this grease for like high level stuff. But Michael and his lovely wife were there at the game. By the way, they also went to the Kansas game. They're 2-0 on the road with the Mountaineers. I said, you got to go to Houston, but
Yeah.
they'll be back.
Need to
All
follow us.
Next up, what do we have here? Oh, there, yeah. I brought him to a fancy coffee place there in Houston at the Intercontinental, Hoppy.
Yeah.
Pretty good, Brad?
It was fine.
Lady, how about the lady?
Wasn't game day grind. But
How
it was
about the
good.
lady when she poured that milk?
Long pour.
She put the thing above her head and poured it down into the cup. Thought it was spectacular. Next one here, Jake. Then we went to practice at Houston, and then after that, let me
How
see.
do you say the name of that arena?
Fertitta Center.
Fertitta.
Fertitta.
Yeah, they own the whole shebang there.
What is Fertitta?
He's a guy.
Tillman,
family.
Fertitta.
Fertitta Tillman, gambling,
Big
casinos,
restaurateur.
restaurants.
Okay.
He's the guy that brought Dana down.
Oh, okay, okay.
Next one here, Jake. If you would flip through that.
Kind of the owner of the franchise.
Yeah,
Owner of the University of Houston franchise.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Also owns the Rockets.
So he's
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when we went to his, then we went to the Rockets game. That's a Mexican dish of carnitas that was fantastic. It was really, really good. Next up, then we went to the Rockets
Oh,
game.
you went to the Rockets game.
Well, there's Chris Wallace to the left and Brad in their own box. They did not let me sit there. I had to sit way above. They let me come in and take a picture of them during the game. They said, "Okay, leave now."
Oh, so Chris Wallace got you in the box there?
Well, we had a lot of NBA things to talk about. Analytics, advanced analytics,
Well,
and numbers, scouting.
He's in
right?
charge of their. I mean, he's a personnel guy. Yeah,
know.
he brought us into their operations box, and Brad and him talked the whole game. Didn't talk to me at all. Anyway, next picture, if you would, Jake. Okay. Last,
good.
we went to an Italian place. You know how you know when you got it made? So Chris knows the dude that runs this restaurant. 12 tables, 12-table restaurant.
Mhm.
Very nice. He said, "This is when you know you're going to get good food." He said, "Hey," brings the owner over. "Could you make me that Stanley Tucci zucchini pasta? Can you guys back there do it?"
Because it was not on the menu.
Not on
this
the menu.
night.
He says the zucchini with them. We put the tomato. Yeah, he goes, "Yeah, well, I'll get the guys started on that." You know, that's when it's not on the menu. I'll get the guys started on that. I'm gonna tell you something. Rate my plate. That was off the hook.
Oh, really?
Fantastic. And the owner told us we use a very good olive oil. Like that olive oil, I could have drank that in a glass. It was fantastic. And then after that, Jake, go ahead, hit me with that. What else did we get? I went lamb chops, Hoppy.
Yeah.
They weren't too shabby. Had a nice bed underneath that
Yeah.
of various things. And then let me see, Brad's lasagna was next. That was a spinach. How good was that?
Very good.
Yeah. Well, there wasn't any left. Next thing I saw would be an empty bowl. And then after that, Hoppy, we concluded a little vanilla gelato and some chocolate chip biscotti.
Oh, you guys did okay.
Here's what's interesting about that. You know, historic win for West Virginia at Kansas.
Right.
Had never happened.
Right.
You know what else has never happened?
What?
Him raving about a restaurant that he did not choose.
Yeah.
You've
true.
not heard that.
Yes.
You've known him a long time.
Right.
he has to choose the restaurant or it's no good.
Right.
He had no input in this. He didn't say
This
a
was
thing.
Chris Wallace
Chris
completely.
said, here's where we're going. We're going to show up. We're going to go here.
Well, in Tony's defense, he's
And he
smart
loved it.
enough to know
Thank
that
you,
the guy
Hoppy.
knows.
Thank you,
where
Hoppy.
to
No,
go.
there's other guys that he knows in other places that he won't give that same credit to. He just does not do it. I've been around him 30 years, Hop. Never known him to like a restaurant he didn't choose. First
Wallace
time.
knows
Historic
restaurants.
trip.
Hey, you know what? There's a fish place that Wallace brought me to in Houston a couple times ago. Was also fabulous. Also fabulous. Hey, by the way, speaking of Gomart, check this one out.
Okay.
On your app boy. Gomart, a fun way to fuel your tank this year. Check out the new Tiki Solitaire game on the Gomart app. You play your first round, you get 20 cents off a gallon of gas. Did you hear what I said?
When is it?
You play Tiki Solitaire and you get 20 cents off per gallon
I do need to
of
get
gas just for trying it out. Download the Gomart app, start playing today.
Looks to me like, other than the loss, Houston, you guys had a pretty good road trip.
Oh, I'm going to tell you
Went
something,
to
buddy.
coffee shops, made friends.
Every day.
Went to restaurants, went to the Rockets game.
Went to a really interesting coffee place yesterday morning inside the University of Houston Methodist Medical Center. Went up on the second floor where all of the hospital people were starting their day, and we went into the coffee shop there.
Where were you guys? I mean, Houston's sprawling. Where were you exactly?
Right at the MD, in the MD Anderson Medical Complex, which is just breathtaking.
Yeah.
Breathtaking.
Right across the street from the Rice campus.
Oh, okay. Okay.
We went into the Rice football stadium and into their basketball practice.
Did you go to basketball practice?
My gosh. Well, you guys were gone for 11 days.
Yeah.
So
Well,
I
we got
mean,
there on July 6th. So we had
you
some time.
were.
We were looking for JT Daniels on the Rice campus. Couldn't find him. You know, they held the Super Bowl at that Rice Stadium, 1974, 72 or
Early
74.
70s, yeah.
Yeah, pretty wild. But literally, we went into their basketball facility. We walked through the front doors, like from here to that wall, and there they are. They're practicing. Let's go take a look how they guard the high ball screen. See what they're doing. Rob Lanier, head coach.
Yeah. it's nice.
Nobody stopped you and said, you're spying on
We
Rice.
went into a class.
Tony walked into a class, audited it for about 10 minutes. Good to see everyone.
You got to take advantage of these
Gosh,
excursions.
did you go into like,
We were getting around.
sounds like it.
Just want to say hello to folks.
Three Guys brought to us by Comax Business Systems, keeping West Virginia's business data safe, secure, and efficient for 25 years. By Gomart. Go for a Gomart rewards card. As I said, you start saving instantly on your stuff. Go to gomart.com or download the app. Lou Wendell Marine Sales in St. Albans. They sell family fun. Visit LouWendellMarineSales.com. Don't let the snow fake you out. We're days away from bright sunshine, grass, flowers, and boating.
Any
a couple
any
days
minute
away.
now. Any minute.
I don't know. We have a couple of days left.
Three Guys brought to us by Tutor's Biscuit World. Start your day the homemade way with a Tutor's biscuit. British guy likes it, so can you. And by the Conley CPA Group, providing value beyond numbers. We're back again on Monday, he says, thinking. Yeah, we're good, right?
Thinking aloud?
I don't know, I haven't looked that far.
So that'll be recap Iowa State preview of Arizona. We got the Arizona Staters, right, on Tuesday.
Yeah,
What time
okay.
on Monday?
You're retired. You got time. We're out. See you. Special thanks to producer Jake. We'll be back.